Hey, Joey and Andrew here again for this time a match preview. We have Orlando City SC versus Charlotte FC. It should be a pretty good match. I'm actually feeling pretty good about it. I know Andrew's probably not feeling the same way, but we'll discuss that a little bit later. First of all, Andrew, did you get a chance to watch any of the City and Real Madrid match?
I did not, but I was working. I heard it end in a thriller. I think
Yes,
City won 4-3. Am I correct?
correct. Yeah, it was an amazing match. I only got to catch bits and pieces of it, but man, it was intense.
So now I really hate Pep because could have got the treble. Freaking phoned in the FA Cup. Annoying. But continue.
Nice. All right. So next, what's that shirt you got there? That looks pretty nice.
This is the 2021. I believe it's the training kit for Charlotte. They're on sale in the team store. As I love colorful kits, so it's colorful and it's a lot cheaper than the other kits.
Nice. Yeah, it looks pretty good. All right. So to start out with, Orlando City, they're a pretty decent club, and they have 4 wins, 2 draws, and 3 losses. But if you look at their 4 wins, they're over Montreal, Chicago, Columbus, and the standout is LA Galaxy. The Galaxy win, that's a quality win. There's not much you can say about that. Montreal, Chicago, and Columbus, though, I mean, those aren't exactly clubs that light the stage on fire. And specifically against Chicago, they got that win against a 10-man Chicago squad, where Chicago had a red card, well, technically the second yellow, in the 43rd minute. And then even Orlando still had trouble getting that goal. It was a 1-0 game, and they couldn't get it in open play. They had to rely on a set piece. So their season's been a little bit shaky. One of their draws was against Portland, and that was a draw that Portland was down to 10 men as well. So I don't know. They're obviously third in the standings, but their matches have been a bit up and down. But I'll say that they definitely spread their goals around. They have 7 different goal scorers, and what's even more amazing is 5 different people with at least 2 assists. So that's very good. They're very creative, and obviously, pretty much anybody can score for them. So that means they're generally good going forward, but they will definitely give up some goals. Now, Andrew, is there anything that you wanted to point out or any insights you may have?
Sure. After you read those red card stats, clearly they know how to get fouls. So that's something that our players need to play with discipline in this game. So, they got that in their bag. Orlando City tends to play through the middle for a lot of their goals, and they are susceptible to the counterattack, which, playing through the middle, we can talk about in a minute, Joey. And then counterattack, I don't know if we have anyone breakaway that can necessarily Camille's not playing this week, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd feel more confident about this match.
Now, did you see that he specifically wasn't going to play, or are you just basing that off of last match? He wasn't on the team sheet.
I think he'll get some game time at the end.
Gotcha.
I don't think he's going to start. So we'll see. If it's close in the second half, there might be a chance. So yeah, I misspoke there. I do expect him to get some game time, but nothing close to anything more than 20 minutes. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, same. All right. Now, as far as how the game will play out, you mentioned that they play at Orlando City, that is. They like to focus through the middle a lot. Now, that can be a blessing and a curse. For us, we play very narrow. And actually today, Matt Swift of Mint City Soccer Show podcast, which if you guys don't listen to that already, make sure you do. It is a great podcast. But Matt Swift pointed out something that may be actually helpful. All right, so what he's saying right here is that we play just in general very narrow. So you can see the two backs, Lindsay and then Mora, are still pretty narrow into the field. And then you have all those midfielders and defenders just clumped up right in the middle. So you basically have 4 guys covering 2 people, and Lindsay just, not covering his guy at all. And then Mora is left to cover 2 people. Now, if Orlando goes to play through the middle, we will clump up that space and cause issues for them. But I'm pretty sure they'd be able to adapt to that. Anything you want to say on that regard?
I mean, they do have a 6'4" striker, so they could just lob it into the box. I fully anticipate them maybe to take advantage of his height this game.
Yeah, definitely. And outside of Kalina, we have nobody else with any height really, and that's definitely something to look out for. And then another one Matt Swift pointed out is that this is where they led to Colorado hitting the crossbar again. And if you see, Lindsay is just nowhere near his guy. He's still playing very narrow, and they left that guy wide open, and the ball got played to him, and there was nothing we could do about it. So, I'm hoping that Orlando doesn't pick up on this, but, it's very possible that, and likely that they will. One thing I would say that I'm surprised that we haven't addressed is how narrow we play. A lot of other teams will, when they transition from attacking to back to defense, they'll actually flatten out their formation so that they can provide more coverage on the wings. You especially see this if you're a U.S. men's national team fan. They definitely do that a lot, where a lot of times we'll even transition to like a 5-4-1 when we're playing off of the ball. And then going forward, we'll go back into our more attacking formation and play that way. But outside of that, Charlotte, we're coming off of getting our first road point, which is amazing. I think that we'll actually be okay as long as we do what we've been doing here. I don't think that Orlando's that great defensively, and honestly, I'm excited to see what we can do against them. Right. Now, what do you got to say?
Well, they might not be great defensively, but our offense doesn't set the world on fire either. So something's going to have to give. Like you said, I would also advise to flatten out. I don't know if that's due to deficiencies in the bottom of our diamond, traditional, defensive midfielder. Bronico, he doesn't make a lot of tackles. This would be a good, ideally this would be a good game from him to see a lot of action, to make those tackles, to get the ball, try to start a counterattack potentially. I just don't see that happening. I haven't seen that happen yet. So until I see it, it's going to be an interesting game. A leaky, their goalkeeper, something, if you watch the Red Bulls game, something he is prone to. If this team, I have, advocated this team to get into the box, but this goalkeeper is susceptible to a long shot. He tends to palm a lot of balls away, especially into dangerous areas. So if they could flood the box with at least one or more people, take a long shot from the outside, get a fortuitous bounce, you could have an open goal, which is essentially what happened to the Red Bulls' second goal. So that might work. That's another strategy. I would look for more longer shots in this game, just due to the profile of the keeper.
Yeah, definitely. They their keeper seems to punch balls away, and if we can get some people in there, I'm hoping that we can poach a goal or two. That would be awesome. Now, as far as our formation, I don't really think we would change it at this point until Camille's ready to fully start. I kind of expect us to have almost the exact same lineup as the Colorado match. What about you?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's going to be any changes. I still think guys are learning the systems, as you pointed out with the stills earlier. There's still defensive issues, communication issues, and until they really pick up the 4-4-2, I don't really imagine us transitioning to a different formation.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I bring it back to Matt Swift and his podcast. They also mentioned, and I haven't fact checked this at all, but they mentioned that Coach Miguel, he is the latest manager in putting subs onto the field. That means he waits the longest to actually do his substitutions out of everybody in the MLS. Now, I've mentioned this multiple times. I am not a fan of waiting that long, and especially when you have a bunch of guys that are new to the league. I definitely think you should, use the substitutions a bit more to at least rest some legs.
100%. And, you know, I'm actually hoping to see Gaines in this game. Yeah, I mean, he had a tough one last game, but he does provide a counterattacking threat. I mean, as seen at the end of the game, he had one chance immediately when he came on. This could be a good game for him to have more than one chance. Will he start? Likely not, but I don't want to see him come on in the 90th minute and get like one opportunity. You know,
Yeah, so he clearly has the speed, and bringing him on late when the defender's legs are tired is awesome. I hope they do that pretty often. But I am a little bit worried about his, decision making inside the box, or actually inside the attacking third in general. But I think he's still young. He's got time to work on that. I'm not concerned at this point. Now, I mentioned that I'm pretty optimistic because I think the way we play, especially if we play like we did the second half against Colorado, I think we could actually you know take the ball through the midfield and find some open lanes and some space for people to move into and get some good scoring shots. Um, I I'm very optimistic. I don't think Orlando is as good as their record right now. I don't believe that they should be in third place. Like I mentioned earlier, their wins aren't that great out of LA Galaxy. They've played against squads that went down to 10 men's twice. Um, I really think we have a chance. So, that being said, let's transition into predictions. Go ahead. What are you thinking?
so it depends. Are we going to see the first half or the second half team at Colorado? Um, so this game, in my opinion, could go one of two ways. We could clog up the midfield, like you said. Everyone get really compact. They like to play through the midfield. If they don't adjust, then we're in for a completely boring game. And I see that game as a 0-0 draw again. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully it becomes more free flowing. If it becomes more free flowing, then to me it's a toss up. I think they have some skills we don't. Again, I wish we had a little more speed because they are susceptible to counterattack. If we sub at the 70th minute, if it's 0-0 at the 70th minute, and we put on our speedsters like Reyna and Gaines, then to me that means we're going to try to nick a goal, and I'd be highly supportive of that decision. If that's how the game plays out, I can see a 1-0, 2-1 win potentially.
Yep.
If we stick to our guns and don't do the subbing early, wait till the end, then I easily see like a 0-0 draw, or even we're essentially susceptible to a 1-0 loss. So that's my thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, so I am probably overly optimistic. I've had a pretty good week. My weekend was great. All of my teams won, or Charlotte didn't win, but I'd consider a point on the road at this point a win. I'm feeling great. I'm going to go ahead and say Charlotte gets a 2-1 victory. Not much else I can add to that. It's mostly pie in the sky type stuff, but hey, I'm going to call for it. Now, we're going to bring on an extra special guest to do a prediction. All right, so this is the young, super mega talented South Carolina United youth player, my son John. Now, buddy, we're talking about Orlando City versus Charlotte FC. Who do you think is going to win, and what do you think the score will be?
I think Charlotte will win, and I think it's going to be 8-4.
Whoa, 8-4. Oh,
8-4.
man.
Oh.
Guys, you heard it here.
If that comes true, you need to go to Vegas with all your money.
Charlotte's going to absolutely destroy Orlando by scoring 8 goals. Man, that'll be fun to watch.
You make me feel better about my prediction, John. I'll give you that.
All right, guys. Yeah, that's going to do it for today. We're going to keep it nice and short and quick. Andrew, I love the shirt. Yep.
Thank you.
Good on you for getting that. All right, everyone, have a good one.
Yep. Take care.
Oh, yeah, one last thing. If you are a super fan of Brant Bronico, he opened up his website with a nice merch shop. So go get your Branico merch right now.